Welcome to the Refuge News Studio, where today we're talking about news and stuff. Should I use my news broadcaster voice?
Do you need me to hold your phone up here like a teleprompter
Yeah,
so
dude,
you can read the comments?
That'd be so funny. If we hold it up there, that'd be great. Okay. Hi guys. Hi internet people. Today.
Wait, I didn't set things up. Why are your jockos out of frame?
Okay, my jockos are out of frame. Dudley's angry. Okay, boom. There's one jocko. Here's another jocko. I'm double fisting today. All right, we're coming
You're
back.
not my friend, but you're fine.
We're coming back from the Labor Day weekend, and so, dude,
Uh,
I needed the extra kick.
You gotta lift them up for YouTube.
We got the this is Tropic Thunder, not the movie, but better.
Why? Because you're not the dude next to the dude
playing
pretending to be another dude?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. No, so this is unofficially sponsored by Jocko Go. They haven't sponsored us. Maybe someday when we grow up and we're a big kid. Oh gosh, I'm good. All right. In today's news, we're talking about National Preparedness Month.
Yay! Are you prepared?
I am prepared. Are you prepared?
I'm prepared.
I'm hecka prepared. We got people here. People are saying, "What's up?" I don't think that's enough caffeine.
Oh shoot, it's Hobie.
Hobie!
What?
Hobie. Everybody say hi, Hobie.
Hi.
Hi, Hobie.
Everybody loves you, Hobie. You're a great guy.
Are we gonna be seeing him?
Yeah, hopefully
soon?
we're gonna see you for Tabernacles. That'd be awesome. Yeah, it's not enough caffeine, but it'll get us through the live stream. So, National Preparedness Month. The FEMA place, FEMA and DOD and DHS, they're all like, you need to do this to be prepared. And some of their stuff is pretty funny, to be honest. And we're gonna read through some of that stuff. I got a printout here. We're official. We're gonna talk about what it means for you guys to be prepared in a medical aspect, right? We'll talk about other stuff. If you guys have questions, as always, throw them in the boxes. You don't have a box YouTube. You do have a box TikTok. You do have a box Instagram. And also, hi Instagram. Hi YouTube. Hi TikTok. I hope you guys are having a lovely day. And if you're not, don't worry. Embrace the suck. Keep pushing. Move forward. Get over it. You're fine. And be better and stronger.
I couldn't fit all of that on my patch.
Yeah, his just says embrace the suck. He didn't say all the other stuff. So who is this from? Who made this list? Do you know?
It was.
Is this FEMA?
Yeah.
This is
CDC.
FEMA.
I think it was CDC.
CDC. Okay. Well, we can always trust them. So that's good. This is the all hazards supply kit checklist. So this is what you need for all hazards, every of them. Doubt it. But whatever. First thing is water, right? 1 gallon per person per day. Food, non-perishable, easy to prepare items. They say 3-day supply for evacuation, 2-week supply for home. I think that's hilarious. Those are rookie numbers. You gotta pump those numbers up. 3-day supply. You should have 3 days in just like one section of your cabinet. 3 months should be your working pantry at home at all times. Battery powered or hand crank radio, NOAA weather radio if possible, and extra batteries. That's a good prep. I can get behind that. First aid supplies. This is hilarious. This is what the first aid supplies from the Center of Disease Control is. Are you ready?
Uh-oh.
Are you ready? Here we go. Whistle.
I got one.
Antibiotic ointment.
I have some of that.
Band-aids.
Yep.
Face masks.
Okay, don't.
Gloves.
Yes.
That's it. And a reference book.
Oh.
How to use the whistle. The antibiotic ointment. Very good. Bandages, face masks, and gloves. So, no. All right, we're going to stop there for a second. Your first aid supplies should be able to help you in an actual emergency situation. Never once in a true emergency, if somebody's bleeding out or can't breathe, has someone yelled, "Quick, get the antibiotic ointment." That hasn't happened. Not one time. What are we looking at?
I was looking for something for the first aid kit.
Oh, you.
Oh, we got plenty of
I was
those.
looking for the one I.
So, Somebody said my wife Rebecca was packing emergency preparedness kits and stashing them in the basement of our home in Alberta, Canada, prior to police botching a setup investigation. Dude,
Whoa.
not cool.
Not cool at all.
Yes. So medical preparedness, right? First of all, you should have a trauma kit, an actual trauma kit, a kit that is designed to work the March E algorithm. And that is super important, but you also should have in your preparedness stash, right, in the dungeon of your house somewhere, you should have a stock, a back pile of, some sort of goods to continue to, take care and treat a wound or a casualty of some sort. That's actually why we designed it. It's the wound care bucket. We know that preppers love to put stuff in buckets. She's backing up a little bit. She wants to get the full frame shot. Here, I'll get it out of the way I'll get my Jocos out of the way. Okay. Preparedness before Jocos. Sorry, Jocko. That's the way it is. So the wound care bucket, the whole design behind this is we need to put something together that's A, affordable, B, will store really well, really easily, and C, is actually useful. Unfortunately, you're not gonna find any whistles in here. That's just the way it is. But for the CDC to not mention a tourniquet, like a windlass tourniquet, that's asinine to me, right? Because that's something that everyday citizens could actually use in an emergency situation, right? If a tree falls on your house and lacerates an artery, you're not going to blow a whistle. You're going to need to stop the bleeding. Hit me. Perfect thing, cat tourniquet. Also, soft T tourniquet. We sell both of these things. You need them, right? We're actually giving these away right now at certain products, or like certain price points. If you spend 150, 150 bucks, you get a cat tourniquet. I think they're like 30 bucks right now, 32 bucks maybe. That's a smoking deal right there. That's a pretty hot deal. If you spend 300 bucks, you get a bleeding control kit. A bleeding control kit, literally, this takes care of, your MAR right here. That's a huge deal. You're gonna get shears, survival blanket, gloves, cat tourniquet. I think there's not a chest seal in here, but you're also gonna get wound packing gauze and an emergency trauma dressing. If you're dealing with a junctional arterial bleed, you can solve it with this. If you're dealing with a limb-based arterial bleed, you can solve it with this. If you're dealing with circulation issues, you can solve it with this, right? You spend 300 bucks, you get one of these for free. They're like 58 bucks. If you spend 400 bucks, you get a whole wound care bucket. The design behind this, peeps, is so that if you are like stranded, I don't know, Hurricane Katrina, the Kentucky tornadoes, the Kentucky floods, all of these things where people like couldn't get access to medical first aid, to, EMS, EMT, you have things at your house that you can take care of a wound with. You can clean it, you can dress it, you can keep it clean, you can change the dressings, all these things, and you can do it in a sterile, safe way. So you get a crap ton of gauze, bunch of gloves, right? We're gonna start with an actual bunch of gloves because you don't want to be putting your hands inside of wounds with your dirty, nasty hands. You want it to be clean because infections suck and that's how you die. And we're trying to prevent that. No die, much live. Got it? Cool.
Very nice.
Very nice and not die. Thank you. Okay. Next. Oh my gosh, I don't know how they do this. They pack it so well.
Hey, remember, you gotta repack it.
I'm not doing that. The our floor manager's like, you need to repack the kits. And I'm like, Ty. Then we have a big pack of 5x9 abdominal pads. These gauze packs are awesome. You can use these for so many different applications, all the way from head wounds to lacerations to actual abdominal wounds. Are great at absorption. Then we have an assortment of rolled gauzes for whatever the occasion may bring, whether you're making a headband or you're treating a wound. It's on you. Then we have
here.
What?
The goat is here.
The goat.
From
Wow.
Kentucky.
Oh, nice. Don't eat cans. That's an inside joke. I'm sorry, internet. 8x10 abdominal pads for your bigger occasions, right? We have an assorted square gauzes, right? So these I think are 4x4s. Yeah. So these are 4x4s here. You can use these for a plethora of different things. And the whole idea behind this kit, right? This isn't a trauma kit. This is after the trauma has happened, so you can dress and you can take care of a wound, right? You can manage it. It's a wound care bucket. It's not a I hurt myself bucket, okay? Then we have more assorted gauze. These are 3x3s here, right? Awesome. Then, oh, hey, we're on the list now. CDC right here. Triple antibiotic ointment. We did it, right? There's no whistle, but we did get triple antibiotic ointment, as well as an assortment of medical tape. Actual good medical tape, too. It's not the sucky stuff that comes right off. No, this stuff actually works. More gauze. Dude, how did you fit all this gauze in here? 2x2 gauze pads here, because wounds come in different shapes and sizes, people. We need that. Band-Aids. Boom. We're on the list. Take that, CDC. So this is an assorted pack of Band-Aids, so you have a big variety here for your little cuts and big cuts. Little PVP, little iodine, so that way we can clean wounds, because that's kind of important. Infections suck. And remember, not die, live, right? Live and let live. Then we have some hydrogen peroxide, and we have some ISO, right? This is 70% ISO. That way you can do some flushes, you can do some treatment, and you can make sure that you're not getting infected. So that way if you're stranded because your whole house is flooded, or your whole county is flooded, or you know, a tornado ripped down all the firehouses near you, you can treat the laceration or the cut or the, you know, what head injury, whatever it may be that you have, and take care of yourself.
I wonder if you're talking about flooding and stuff. We have to do a test. Will a sealed bucket float?
It will. Yeah. Already did it.
Yep.
Already did it. It has a, so cool thing is it has this gasket all around the lid of the bucket, and when we ship it, we actually beat this lid down so that the gasket has a full seal. It's airtight, it's watertight, so the bucket will float because there's air inside the bucket. We don't put oxygen absorbers in there, so it won't sink. Send it. Question.
The goat said make sure you add the suture kit just in case you cut your lip eating cans.
Yeah, that's a great point. So the goat eats cans, and that's not food. Don't eat cans. But if for some reason you find yourself chewing on aluminum, there's an add-on for the SK6, which is 76-piece surgical suture kit. Like, the fact that we sell that to you guys is a big deal. We go through a lot of hoops to make sure this stuff is available to you. And that is an awesome, awesome tool. You can add it onto any bucket. And I mean, that comes with everything you need. It comes with a surgical drape. It comes with, there we go, right? So it comes with a surgical tape. It comes with towelettes. It comes with the sutures. It comes with all your rolled gauze, all your tape, you know, 2-aught, 4-aught, 3-aught, 2-aught, 3-aught, and 4-aught sutures. I mean, this is awesome. Opposed to some steri strips, which is like small wound closure strips. Like, that's what it's going to be, which is pretty awesome. I recommend it. And if you spend $400 right now, you get the bucket. You get it for free. Because it's National Preparedness Month, and we're in the business of making sure you guys are prepared. Like, that's our job. That's one of our biggest passions, is making sure you guys have the stuff that you need. So after first aid supplies, and you should have a trauma kit. Like, if you don't have a trauma kit yet, I don't know what you're doing. Stop watching this right now, go to Refuge, and get a trauma kit. Seriously, like, the majority of our lives saved, people, have been from car accidents, okay? It's not all tactical cool guy stuff. Sometimes Janine, who's in the minivan, got into an accident and she needs a tourniquet, okay? Simple stuff here. Basic dude stuff, as Pat Mack would say.
There's a question from Dr. Trevor Wilkins. Will there be anything in that kit to help me get a beard like his? And I would suggest that the trauma shears to cut down his massive beard will get one like yours.
So first things first, Dr. Trevor Wilkins is one of the best docs for the brain area that I've had the pleasure of meeting. If you're ever dealing with some trauma or you know, any sort of trauma, any sort of mental instability, a plethora of different things, go see him. Angry Viking Therapist. He'll help you work through that. He's an awesome, awesome dude who is really, really specialized in his craft, and he really cares deeply about people overcoming the demons of their past. And if there's almost nothing in that kit that will get you a beard like his unless you use the shears to cut his beard down to your size. He's got a wicked sweet beard. That's a good dude right there. Yeah, so somebody asked, HSA, FSA covers it. Yes, all of our stuff is HSA, FSA approved. All of our kits, our medical kits and our medical components, right? Now, if you go and buy the Survivalist Family book, that's not HSA and FSA approved. If you buy a t-shirt, that is not HSA and FSA approved. Do you want to know why? Say it with me, class. That's not a medical component, okay? You're not going to treat a casualty with a book or a t-shirt. And if you are treating them with a t-shirt, you probably should have just bought the tourniquet instead of improvised one. Come on, people. speaking of preparedness, Pastor Joe Fox wrote a book, Survivalist Family, right? Prepared America for a Strong America, right? And this bad boy right here is chocked full of tips and tricks as to how to get your family better prepared, right? For a plethora of different scenarios. It covers food storage, it covers security, it has brief medical tips. You know, all of this stuff is extremely important. I recommend you grab the book. I think it's an add-on to the bucket, isn't it? Okay.
It's also sold individually.
Yeah. What you got?
I live in Florida. Do you think keeping a trauma kit in the heat of my car will ruin its contents?
No, I think that we kept trauma kits on our person and in Humvees all throughout Afghanistan. And Florida's hot, but it ain't that hot. And we are very, very specific with the components we put in our kits. Now, that being said, there's always the possibility of latex or non-latex gloves sticking, right? That's something that could possibly happen. With that being said, we purposefully moved to a halo chest seal because we had issues with hyphens sticking to the plastic backing, and the halo
extremely
chest seal,
sticky.
Yeah, and the halo chest seal has a scriminant inside the adhesive so that it separates a lot easier. We try to build our kits so that they are applicable in all environments. That's a really big deal from us. And we also have people on our staff that are from Florida. And so that, like, literally your region was in our brain when we were designing kits. That's a great question.
What about the opposite end, freezing?
Oh, yeah, dude, you're good. We haven't seen any issues. If anything, the adhesives will be less sticky. And so you may have to, when you apply anything that is adhesive, mainly being tape and or a chest seal, you may have to hold your hands to allow some body heat to transpose onto the adhesive to allow it to truly form to its surface. All of that, super easy to do, not a huge deal, but it will be successful inside of those regions.
Got a question from Wild Herbs Homestead. Looking to prep my homestead and vehicle. I'm looking at a stomp bag, a vehicle IFAC, K9, and something for our shop. Any suggestions or add-ons recommended?
Yes. So first of all, stomp bag for the homestead is awesome. Like, it's just awesome. I mean, it is literally a mini hospital on your back. And the way that you can transport it super easily is awesome. The K9 kit, if you have dogs, whether they're LGDs or security dogs or just, you know, like Rocco the house pet, that's a great kit to have. There's some different components inside a K9 kit that apply directly to canines. A vehicle kit, I'm gonna recommend the Arc because of the way it mounts to the headrest. Super important. You can detach it super easily, fly off, run with it, do what you gotta do, right? So the Arc, all this backing right here, these straps, they mount to your headrest, right? This is on the back of your headrest. Boom, now you can run with the kit, okay? And that stays there on your headrest. So that's super important. And that's a full IFAC right there. That's gonna work all of the things that you may potentially have to go through. That's gonna work it for you. With the shop, I'm gonna recommend our new kit. That's the OSHA compliant kit. And the reason being is we built that specifically to beat and exceed a OSHA Class B and an OSHA Class A first aid kit. So we took OSHA standards and we were like, okay, what is this? All right, oh, he's teasing it right now. Here, let me see. So we took OSHA's first aid kit and we were like, all right, this is what they tell us we need to have. Let's beat it, right? So we exceeded it with the basic. We also have the advanced. The advanced allows you to have a little bit more trauma capability because OSHA doesn't really think that much about trauma. But this year, OSHA was like, man, a lot of people are dying from amputees on job sites. We should probably make them have first aid kits that have tourniquets in them. And we were like, wow, we've been saying that since we started as a company. Great idea, OSHA. And then us and OSHA like fist bumped and it was awesome. We didn't do that. But you can get this bad boy at the store right now. This is the OC Basic. We also send the OC Advanced. I recommend the OC Advanced personally, unless you're just gonna stage like a bunch of these around the grocery store. This is totally doable. The OC Advanced, however, if you're working around machines, if you're working around heavy equipment, around tools, anything like that in your shop, the OC Advanced is gonna allow you to have that trauma capability that you need without breaking the bank. And the cool thing is like this case right here is from Condition 1. They specifically made this kit for us, this case for us. You know, they run a production line in Texas for us now, and that's awesome because it's not garbage. It works. And we talked to industry leaders in logging, telecommunications, tree work, manufacturing, all these different huge industries, and we're like, all right, what do you actually need? All right, because we gotta meet the requirements for OSHA, but at the same time, we want to put what you actually need in there. So, you know, OSHA's like, have an ounce of eye wash, and we're like, okay, you're gonna need more than that. All right, all these things went into a factor, and so hang this up in the shop. You can get like a little wall hanger, and it'll hang on the wall. Big first aid sticker. Hey, go grab the yellow box. Super easy to tell where the yellow box is. It's not that hard to see unless you're colorblind, in which case I'm not being an ableist. I'm sorry, I love you.
The thing right next to the fire extinguisher.
Yeah, that's where we actually have one that hangs up right next to our fire extinguisher, and that's the best way to do it. Defibrillator, fire extinguisher, first aid kit.
You just spoke about that. Somebody had a question. Do you guys carry an AED?
So we don't carry an AED right now. We've talked a lot about it. We may move into that. The problem with AEDs is, you know, there's the old homage, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. There's no way that we're going to produce or manufacture an AED right now. So for us to sell an AED, we would then be buying it from somebody who produces or manufactures it. And usually if we did that, we'd have to sell it at a higher price point, which might charge you guys more money. And we're not really into that game. So it's something we're looking into. If we find, you know, a good AED that's at a great price point that saves you guys money, we'll move into that. But we don't currently sell an AED. We do training with AEDs through Refuge Training. You do learn how to use a defibrillator, which is awesome. But we don't currently sell them, no. Shalom, Bear Engine. That's a cool guy right there. So let's keep rolling through this National Preparedness Month list here that we have. Sanitation, personal hygiene items, and bleach. Yeah, super important. You like don't eat where you poop, guys. Super important. Make sure you have stuff to clean stuff, which goes into the wound care bucket. All the sanitation items that are in there, it's purposeful because you want to make sure that you keep all wounds clean. Copies of personal documents, medication list, pertinent medical information, proof of address, deed, lease to home, all that stuff, birth certificates. Yeah, you want to have that in like a locked safe is my recommendation, a fireproof box, something like that that you can move with if you need to. Cell phone with chargers. Yeah, sure. Huge natural disaster though. Probably not going to have cell service. That's something we experienced in Kentucky as a lot of the cell towers were down. It's much more pertinent that you have radios. And you know what, you know, your frequencies for your local weather, your local emergency, EMS broadcast, that type of stuff. Emergency disaster plan, that's a huge thing that people don't do. Does your family have a plan for what they're going to do in case something crazy happens? You know, and even in Bear Independent, we have, you know, the Prepper Notebook, and he goes into that. And part of the Prepper Notebook is having that disaster plan. You know what you need. Extra cash, sure. It seems as though in a lot of disasters, though, people are more interested in tangible items and not as interested in paper money. But that's just my experience. Emergency blanket, extra clothes, sleeping bag, at least one for each person. An emergency blanket, we sell those, right?
I'm not sure they're a single component.
They're not a single component? We should make them a single component.
I can do that.
So we're gonna make an emergency blanket a single component. They're super affordable, and the idea is it retains heat, so that way you don't get hypothermia and die. Remember, die bad, live good. That's my quote for today. Tools, maps of the area, and other items to meet your unique family needs. Right? Super important to have a basic toolkit that can travel. Super important to know where you are and where you might need to go. Maps, right? What happens if your cell phone doesn't work? Do you know where you are? These things are super important. Another thing on there is specific medical supplies, hearing aids, extra batteries, glasses, contact lenses, syringes, canes, stuff like that. Also, I would say having a first aid kit for every family member is super important. An IFAK, IFAK, individual first aid kit, right? Individual being the functioning word. there. My IFAC is not J.A. Dudley's IFAC. J.A. Dudley's IFAC is not my IFAC, right? I don't use stuff out of my kit to treat him. He doesn't use stuff out of his kit to treat me. We both have one, right? And so having an individual first aid kit for every member of your family, super, super pertinent. And sometimes that's buying a larger kit, right? Sometimes it's buying, a mini stomp or a stomp bag where you can treat multiple people because you have a larger family, or an adventure bag, something of that sort. Also medication, they mentioned medication, so that's going to be your over-the-counter meds and even your prescription meds. It's not a bad idea to talk to your doctor and have some extra prescription meds on hand. That's something that I know my family does. Usually, if you know your general physician, it's not a big deal. Like, if you need extra insulin or something to that extent, talk to your doctor and make that decision to be extra prepared. With the medication, if you get a comprehensive first aid kit, like an adventure bag, that's going to have over-the-counter meds in there. That's going to have antidiarrheal tabs. It's going to have small med packs. So that's going to be your acetaminophen, aspirin, ibuprofen. It's also going to have Benadryl, all these different things that could be useful in a scenario to where, like, okay, we don't have windows anymore because they were broken out and we don't have anywhere to go. We need pain pills or, acetaminophen or allergy tabs, something like that. Send it.
Johnny5 is alive asked, do you recommend a radio and information to learn about radios, how to use them? What you recommend?
I do recommend a radio. Honestly, if you don't have any information about radios, the best thing to learn on would be like a Baofeng. Now, there's a bunch of regulations surrounding that, so you're going to have to do a little bit of research for yourself there. And respectfully, I'm not going to speak too much about it, but the FCC sometimes sucks. And so do your research, but there's easy ways to program those radios and have your local frequencies, so that way you have information in case of an emergency. Also shortwave walkie-talkies, super easy to obtain. They work. If it's not broke, don't fix it. So think about that. You can run on GMRS or FRS frequencies with no license. Family radio service, FRS, right? And you can use that all the time. In an emergency, you can also use MERS, which is the multi-use radio service.
Yes.
Yeah, multi-use radio service, MERS, M-U-R-S. There's multiple channels on those frequencies as well, and in an emergency, you are authorized to use that. An emergency is kind of like what you dictate, like my dog, like Lucy fell in a well, like that's an emergency, use MERS, right? So interesting there. What you got?
YouTube is an excellent resource for things like that. There's a guy named Haj Nazi. He's
Say that 5 times fast.
the ham radio dude. It's a few different people out there that will teach you the basics of a radio, to do an area study and be in communication with people.
It's super important. What you got?
So I had CB ask, what do you think about the Synaptic Kit? My job has that on the wall. I pulled up their website.
I was going to say, if that's the same person who emailed us, I'll have you responding to him later.
Can I
If
see
it's
it?
Yeah, you can see their website,
I'll-
and then you
here
can
we
look
go.
through it really
Live
quick.
review.
Is a
Right
You
soft
can't click
tourniquet in.
you can't click on the actual products, but they do have like a bleeding control kit that's down at the bottom that you can click
I
on.
think those scissors are gonna break. I think there's probably some good stuff in there. I think the bag is Chinese made. I think a lot of the components are gonna be Chinese made. I think that metal case is definitely produced inside of China. I think that's why the price point is so cheap. The bleeding control kit that they have has a TMT tourniquet.
What is
From-
TNT?
Who produces that?
Safeguard?
Safeguard produces the TMT tourniquet.
Because we looked at it.
The problem with the TMT tourniquet is stand by.
I was going to say,
Dun 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 dun
I'm back. See how I'm not ended? PT, bro. So this is a TMT tourniquet. I love the width of this tourniquet here, okay? Really, really similar to a cat. A lot of good malleable plastic here, which is good because you want it to fit your arms. That way you get proper restriction. I don't love the way the hook and loop is. If you can see, it's already kind of starting to separate. We haven't used this tourniquet much at all. Here's my problem. This is a new one in the package, right? Because we do research on this stuff, and that's important. This is a knife. It's a utility tool. Don't ban me, TikTok, for a pocket knife. All right, new in the package, right? If I can get it open. This is why you stage your tourniquets. Tactical Mechanical Tourniquet is what TMT stands for. Has a little direction pack. So, the way this tourniquet works is the windlass. It's a plastic windlass, right? We tried to break it, it didn't break. And when you do it, it goes into this little clip right here. There's a little clip right here that everybody can see. And when you do it, it snaps in. And they talk about how the audible snap helps you know that the tourniquet's in place. But if you do this, it's not in place anymore. So you can easily, even with there being pressure, right? So if I were to create pressure here, you can still pull it out just the same way.
Can you put that on with one hand?
No, it struggles. I do like that it can detach like a soft tee for direct impingement. That's cool. This clip is super weak too. Same with this guy here. You can bend this, and if I can bend this, I can break this. But my biggest problem is this guy right here, this little clip. And the reason being is I can take this, and last time we did it in one pull, this guy right here, it's already out of shape, right? From one pull. Well, now it's much easier to get this out of its position, right? So it has a big failing point, and the big failing point happens to be directly on the windlass, right? The windlass locking system right here, this little clip. Well, if this comes loose, you don't have arterial restriction anymore. And it may not see, you're not gonna be spurting blood anymore, but you're draining, right? You're dripping out. And with that, you can die. And so I would never trust this with my life.
And you have to turn it in one direction?
Yeah, you have to turn it in one direction. Now you can technically, if you turn it the opposite way, lock it in, but you're not gonna get the same amount of pressure as you would with a cat that has the C-clamp for either way. Similar with the soft tee and how the triangle works, either way. This is a COT-C recommended tourniquet or approved or whatever language you want to use. I forget how they directly use it. That being said, COT-C standards is that it's 2 inches wide and has a windlass locking system. So, and it can be applied with one hand. So you can apply it with one hand. It's not super easy. I can apply a lot of tourniquets with one hand. But this isn't something that I would trust my wife's life to, or my own, especially with the windlass coming out.
Please stop doing that and talking about your wife.
How dare you, sir? She's a saint. So yeah, that's what I think about the Syntas. They have a good chest seal. They have some with the SWAT tee. SWAT tees can be a struggle sometimes for adults because you don't get a full 2-inch wrap. And with that, you can have...
Because it folds over?
Yeah, you can have nerve damage, and that's an issue. I'm sure some of their kits are fine. And, you know, Syntas is a really, really successful company.
Is it TAS or TOS?
Syntas. I'm from the north. Do what I want.
Somebody had also asked how you feel about ratcheting tourniquets.
Listen, man, complexity creates potential for failure. There's a couple, the mechanical ratcheting tourniquet, RMT.
I was gonna say, is
Ratcheting
the
mechanical
soft
tourniquet?
tee technically, because you have to do the ratcheting.
No, that's not a ratcheting
No.
tourniquet.
I was thinking the motion, but
So I understand the idea and the desire to want to create more tourniquets on the market. There's also something to be said. If it's not broke, don't fix it. I'm always gonna trust. Oh, I kicked the tripod there. Sorry, YouTube. I'm always gonna trust what is being used the absolute most in application, right? That's where we're getting the most data from. And more data allows us to know what are the true failing points in something. If it hasn't been tested and tried and tested and tried and tested and tried, then we don't know what's going to make it successful versus what's going to make it unsuccessful. And what we're talking, this isn't a holster, right? This isn't a new phone case or a camera. Like, this is something that's going to stop the blood and decide whether you die or not. And so for me, data is really important. See, we actually broke the clip on this one here, where that was. I think he just took the windlass and snapped it. So if it got snagged on something on the ground, that'd be a problem. Ratcheting tourniquets, I've used them. I've gotten arterial restriction. It's a lot of things to do if you're doing it by yourself, right? Because you got to remember, you have to be able to do it by yourself. If you're doing it by yourself and everything's all slippery and you're having to work a ratchet, that's where you can have an issue.
Is that like one of those zip tie ones?
It's similar.
With the teeth?
Yeah, it's similar to that. It's a really similar application.
We broke one of those on first attempt and said, "Oh no, that's not happening."
Yeah, I mean, there's a large variety of tourniquets out there. Now, look at the data. What's being actually used, right? What's being used in combat? The hardest application that could possibly be applied, right, is combat. Soft T, Cat Gen 7. Almost every single time, that's what's being used in combat. Okay, all right, SAM junctional tourniquet being used in combat, right?
Somebody just asked about, have you tested the SAM XT?
Yeah, I've tested the SAM XT. I don't have a problem with the SAM XT. The band inside the windlass is really, really thick. And so you have to wrench down on the first tightening right here when you do the SAM XT. Otherwise, you're not going to get the proper restriction with your windlass. That's my only issue with the SAM XT. I've also seen some bigger homies struggle a lot with the SAM XT. But that's a good tourniquet on the market right now. It's not something that we sell because those caveats that I just mentioned before. Go ahead.
Daryl854 asks, does any of your kits have an oral airway? And what about kits geared towards pediatric?
So we do have kits that are geared towards pediatric. That being said, a lot of our kits are applicable in both a pediatric and non-pediatric sense. Oral airway, no. We do sell with nasopharyngeal airways. Intubation is something that we are not really interested in selling to the general public because it's a huge responsibility. Even applying a naso is a huge responsibility. Now, there's pediatric applications inside of our mini stomp, our stomp bag, both of our Macs, as well as we sell the Boo Boo 2.0. The Boo Boo 2.0 we sell with an S mark and a mini compression bandage, so that way it's applicable to children. We recommend every child has that in their backpack. You can toss it if you want. Has a little pocket right here, S mark, child application tourniquet, right? Super easy. Has a mini compression bandage that you can use as an ETD. Pediatrics is an interesting realm. I've tested a lot of pediatric tourniquets, and right now, because I have a child and I'm interested, and right now the best thing we've seen on the market is the SWAT T and the S mark, and that's really what our focus is. And so, in regards to intubation, yeah, not currently, no.
Our people from up north, the Iridium Group.
Oh, Snowbird, I love you, bro. You're a great guy.
I've watched the SAM XT fail to engage in training. Until I get more data, they are a pass for me.
So I've used the SAM XT in a training. I used it for, I think, probably 12 hours directly in a training, and I didn't have considerable issues with it. That being said, it is harder to use due to the thickness of the band that's attached to the windlass. That's just the reality of the situation. And I like SAM. I really like SAM Medical. I had a box sitting on my desk when I walked in today from a meeting from SAM Medical. They're awesome. They make really cool products. I'm just not 100% sold on that. I think if you were applying it to someone else, you might have more success. I don't trust it as much for self-application. You got one?
Might be a quick answer. I don't know how extensive you want to go, but what is the point of a naso airway when you don't have an airbag?
You're talking about two different things. So, training. That's my answer. Training.
Link in the bio.
Yeah, link in the bio. Go train. Because you're talking about two different things. making sure that an airway isn't obstructed, and then doing CPR, right? Like assisting in someone's airflow production and resuscitation is different than making sure that their airway is not obstructed. And we don't have 12 hours for me to teach you that. So we're not going to do that right now, but I really recommend training because that'll help you a lot. So hopefully that helps. I'm sorry that that's not like the immediate answer that you're looking for, but it's potatoes and apples. So we're talking about different things. But it's a good question. It is. And you're asking the right question, but you're asking a question on a live stream that I don't know that I could adequately answer without having somebody with a naso in front of me and then also working a BVM on somebody, right? A bag valve. So yeah, we'll move on from that. If you have questions, throw them in the box. You know, we still got plenty of time. We'll go until you guys are done. They also say to keep food on hand. So food is super important to have on hand. It's National Preparedness Month if you're just tuning in. So we're talking about preparedness. Make sure you have food. Also, make sure you have the right medical supplies. Right now, if you spend over $400, we're giving you a wound care bucket.
It's right there on the ground.
It's right there on the ground. I took all the stuff out, but it is right there on the ground, a wound care bucket. And the whole idea is that you can continue to treat a casualty for 30 days, right? A serious casualty with the components in that bucket. And it's good to go, airtight, watertight. You can stack it in the corner, and it's super useful. We want you guys to be prepared. That's how this works. A prepared America is a strong America, right? And that's what we care about. So they give you a list of things that you can keep food-wise. Go to the Prepper Classroom on YouTube. Go to the search bar, Prepper Classroom, and you can learn all about food storage. Super useful tool. What you got?
Speaking about YouTube.
Oh, yeah. We're doing a giveaway right now on YouTube. If you haven't hopped in, here's what you got to do. On one of the social medias, right? Tag 3 of your friends. Okay? Tag 3 of your friends. There's a video that's circulating on the social medias about this giveaway. Tag 3 of your friends, and then go to YouTube, subscribe, and comment done, and you will be entered to win a red SOB. This is a small back kit. So you go up there, you can click it, subscribe, all the stuff and things. You can find the information about it. This is an IFAC, individual first aid kit, okay? This guy stays on your belt. You can run it like this. You can run it like this, okay? And then you can deploy the little pocket in here. And this is a blowout kit. You have an emergency trauma dressing. You have a hemostatic combat gauze. You have a nasopharyngeal airway. You have a hyphen chest seal. You have duct tape. You have antiseptic towelettes. You have gloves. You have wound packing gauze. And then on the outside of the SOB, so that you can get it, you have a tourniquet, right? And we have a soft tee in high-vis orange on the outside of this red SOB. And it kind of looks cool. It's like a burnt orange. I have one in my pocket.
Can you go over how to enter again?
Yes.
One more time?
Yes, I can. So, what you do is, on one of the social medias,
There's a post.
there's a post, right? And it's talking about this red SOB. Tag 3 of your homies, right? Homie 1, 2, and 3. Then, once that's done, go to the YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed. You have to be subscribed, guys. That's the whole thing, right? You have to be subscribed. Click like, comment, done. That's it. It's pretty easy. You tag your friends on dumb stuff all the time. Tag your friends so that they can get an awesome first aid kit, or so that you can get an awesome first aid kit, right? But it comes with the burnt orange soft tee, which is pretty sweet. What you got?
This is when we hit 1K.
Yeah, when we hit
This is when
1K,
we
we're
will
giving it
give it
away,
away.
right? So if you're like, oh, I need this first aid kit by next week, well then tag 1,000 of your friends.
Yes.
Right?
Just keep tagging them.
Just
Keep tagging them.
And if you need it next week, like email me. I'll freaking overnight it to you. I don't care.
And TikTok is trying to get to how many subscribers?
We already hit 60K.
Oh,
60K,
we just hit 7,000 on Instagram. We're still trying to get to 10.
Trying to get to 10. What you got?
If people are just from YouTube and they don't have Instagram and TikTok, just share the crap out of the YouTube.
Yeah. And
Share
comment
it,
done.
and you can still comment done. That doesn't disqualify you from
Right.
the giveaway.
Just share to your homies, right? The whole point is growth. We want to grow medical knowledge, medical preparedness. That's important.
I command you.
I have one more. Badger asked, are badgers available for that, or just order another?
Text me, Badger. Text me. You crazy kid. So then it had a tip down here. In an emergency, drink at least 2 quarts of water a day, 3 to 4 quarts a day if you are in a hot climate, pregnant, sick, or a child. If supplies run low, do not ration water. Drink the amount you need today and look for more tomorrow. That's rough advice, to be honest. You should probably have a plan to store water and make sure that it's clean. Don't risk dehydration, emergency. So dehydration, we sell rehydration salts in a lot of our kits, and that's purposeful. We want to make sure you guys are hydrated.
You can also get them on Amazon if you're just looking for.
Yeah, if you're just looking for dehydration salts, you can get them on Amazon.
Also,
Good.
like, be prepared for like purifying water.
Yeah, purified water. There's purification tablets,
Yeah.
there's life straws, there's so many things. Berkeys, all this stuff.
You can die. From
Water. It's
unclean
basic.
water.
Basic dude stuff here. I thought that this was super funny though. If a disaster catches you without a stored supply of clean water, you can use the water found inside your home, your hot water tank, your pipes and faucets, and ice cubes. They recommend that you have ice cubes on hand as water storage. I might go a little bit further than what these guys recommend.
A lot further.
Maybe you don't just have a whistle in your first aid kit and band-aids.
They also talked
wingless-
about rain catchment. Rain.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah,
they mentioned rain catchment, but rain catchment's illegal, so I think they want you to like go outside and just open your mouth if it's raining. Don't catch the water, but drink it. I don't know. They need to figure out what they're doing. There's some conflicting opinions there. So yeah, that's hilarious in its own right. Yeah, the Red SOB is an awesome giveaway. It's on YouTube. Go to the YouTube, share the YouTube, comment your friends, share the video. Once you've done it with 3 homies, right? Then you comment done, right? Once we get to 1,000, we're giving away a Red SOB. This is a pretty sweet kit. I run the SOB on my duty belt. It is just, it's awesome. It's lightweight, weighs about as much as an AR mag, fits in the palm of your hand. It's not bulky. There's no crap in there that you don't need, which is super, super important. Yeah, if you have questions or, you have questions about preparedness or medical preparedness, medical kits, our manufacturing, anything like that, throw it in the comment box below. YouTube, you don't have a comment or a question box, you just have a comment thing like in the live chat. So do the live chat thing. I'm gonna bring over Ty, our floor manager, really quick. Ty runs all the floor operations
Ty,
here.
come on
So
down.
he makes sure that you guys get your stuff when you need to. So
Closer.
so
Closer.
August,
Closer.
are you in? Is he in?
I don't even know.
Is he here?
He's there.
He's there. All right, this is Ty, guys. He doesn't come on live streams often because he's usually running around like a chicken with his head cut off. Ty, last month, your average fulfillment time was 14 hours and 48 minutes.
Oh,
Those of you who don't know, 14 hours and 48 minutes is how long it took for you to get your kit shipped, right? The average competition right now is shipping in like 2 weeks.
Yep.
What is attributing to your guys' ability to fulfill orders so fast?
We have things.
We have things.
That's pretty much it. We have things. We can put them in the bags that we have made for you guys specifically, and then just put them in a box, ship them out the door.
Heck yeah, have things. If you had one piece of advice for the internet, right, for National Preparedness Month, what's it going to be?
Get a kit. Trust me, like gauze, just gauze.
Gauze. Gauze. Gauze is the name of the game.
There was a baseball game or softball game I went to where a girl got cracked across the eye, right up here, and just because I had gauze in my pocket, she got her to stop bleeding. She went to the dugout, got a stitch in, and went back out and played in the next 10 minutes.
Dude, talk about infield stitching right there.
Yeah.
Reasons to have a surgical kit, softball games, people. That's awesome. Well, that's pretty dope. Yeah, I mean, people think that this is like some crazy fantasy, but the reality is like sometimes people just get hit by a softball and need a stitch.
Oh yeah, it's not always guns and bullets.
No, it's really usually not. And I think that's a problem. We're trying to, change that sort of disconnect between like the medical preparedness industry and then like just the standard preparedness industry or the gun industry or whatever it may be. you need medical, right? You don't always need an extra magazine,
No, yeah.
but you need medical. Somebody's gonna get hurt. It's not if, it's when. I mean,
Yeah.
hopefully, the father willing, it's not super serious, but if it is, man, you should have the right tools.
Oh, exactly.
Like you really should. Yeah, I just wanted to ask your opinion on what they should have.
It's expensive, I know, but I love the adventure kit.
The adventure kit.
It's just overall, it's easy to carry on your back. I've been building for the past like hour and a half.
That is like the family, like American family kit. Like this
Oh,
thing,
easy.
like it's got like your OTC meds, it's got trauma capability, it's got splinting capability, it's got look at how full that is. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
All the
red
things.
packs.
Right? It's got the ability to work the March E,
Plus some.
plus some. I mean, like you're really able to do a lot inside of that kit, and it's in an American-made, handmade bag. It's freaking good quality too. Like I'm a little biased. You got burn shields, really in-depth trauma pack, which is going to have your survival blanket, wound packing gauze, hemostatic agent. This is a big old 6-inch Oleus emergency trauma dressing, S-Mark tourniquet, right? Then you've got a soft T tourniquet here. I can't even get it all back in. Shears for quick access. Sharps container, because if you're dealing with like needles and sutures and stuff like that, you should probably put it in a container that's not going to poke you, because that's gross. You got anti-poop pills. If you drink dirty water, like we were just talking about with the CDC, you're going to have the poops. Well, we should stop that so that way you don't die, because you can die from that. Fun fact. Then you got Benadryl. At the bottom, you have a SAM splint. This is like Ty's favorite thing. This is a gauze pack right here.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, all the gauze, right? SK6, this is the surgical kit we were just talking about. This is abdominal pads and chest seals. This is like all of the wipes, antibiotics, burn gels, anti-sting, all these things. Ace bandage here, and then a splinting module. There's even more stuff in here. You got glucose for low blood sugar, triple antibiotic, gloves, OTC meds, rehydration salts, Band-Aids, steri strips for small wound closure. I mean, the fact that you get all of this at the price you do, it's pretty awesome. And if you buy one of these right now, you'll get a free wound care bucket with how the price point works. So, food for thought there. I mean, you're basically saving like 150.
Wait,
bucks.
hold it up to the screen.
There you go. There you go. It's literally exploding out. There's no chance that I put this back the right
And yes, FSA funds can be used to purchase
Yeah,
those.
FSA, HSA approved. You don't suppose FSA. Oh no, you do suppose, sir. We are medical devices. We got a question from YouTube. Go.
Jay Butler asked, have y'all thought about reworking the adventure kit bag to clamshell instead of half zipper?
Yes, comma, no. So that bag we have redesigned, I think 3 times.
Yeah, 2 or 3 times.
We very specifically built it the way we built it, and so that seems to be the most successful way to build it, so you can deploy the tools properly in the right time. Where the tourniquet is located, where the chest seal is located, like we put a lot of thought into that with different medics, and then different people who literally pack kits every single day. There's talk of other kits that are similar to clamshell bags, but that's we like the adventure kit the way it is right now. What you got?
Another question. Does the SWAT T injure small limbs, like for kids in any way?
Okay, so that's a great question. First of all, SWAT T, the biggest thing with that is it has to be 2 inches in diameter. Anytime that you get under 2 inches in diameter, that's when you risk nerve damage, right? So you always want to wrap properly, and that's when training comes into play. Anytime that you use a tourniquet, there is an inherent risk. Just the fact of the matter. There is a ultimate risk if you need a tourniquet and you don't use one. That's called death, because you'll bleed out. And so train with the SWAT T to wrap it correctly. If Ty just started, if for some reason his radial artery just decombusted and he started bleeding right here, I'm not going to use a SWAT T. I'm going to use a Cat Gen 7. Because I know that it's the proper diameter. I know that I can apply it without causing some sort of nerve damage. With a SWAT T, because of the way the elastic works, it's really easy to miswrap it. So practice. You can take like one of those back rollers from Walmart. You can get it for like $10, and you can practice wrapping on that, and it's going to be really, really similar to wrapping on a leg. And then the better you get at it, go smaller. Practice wrapping on a dowel rod. Seriously, put a shirt around a dowel rod to act as the flesh, and then wrap around it with a SWAT tee, and make sure you can get 2 inches in diameter, because that's where your issue is going to come from. But we've seen through a lot of study that those types of tourniquets, whether it be an S-Mark or a SWAT T, are going to be the most successful on children, given the fact that it doesn't have a circumference limit, right? Like there isn't a minimum circumference limit. You can wrap it around your pinky and get restriction. So I hope that helps. What you got, Doug?
To that point, even I did some of the level 3 trainings from Refuge Medical, where we actually used all this stuff and kept practicing. And even the other day, I practiced on myself again, and I still pinched a nerve.
Yep.
So even with all this training, there's an inherent risk with both a regular tourniquet, an S-Mark, a SWAT T, anything that you're using cut off blood flow.
Yep, 100%. You got to be really cautious about this, and that's why training is so important. You know, even if it's not through RT, I personally think we have the best training around. You need to go get training. The American Red Cross, they stop the bleed training all across the country all the time. I think ours is much better, but that's just my biased opinion.
And buy stuff to practice with.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
don't want to have a whole torn up tourniquet and laugh at that situation if you don't have to.
Yeah. Spend the extra money and get an extra tourniquet to train with.
Yeah, extra
We
30
sell
bucks.
blue training tourniquets.
And a training kit.
And a training kit.
Yeah, somebody.
Where's that at?
Right there.
It's right there by the fire extinguishers.
I just had a question that said, what low-cost training aid should I invest in, specifically medical training aids?
Oh, well, would you look at that, YouTube? This is a Refuge Medical Training Kit. Comes with a cat tourniquet in blue, an emergency trauma dressing 6-inch, combat gauze trainer bandage, hyphen chest seal dressing, and a nasopharyngeal airway. You can get this at the website, and then you can train with it. You can also get an S-Mark for not a lot of money, and you can train with that as well, the same way you can practice, with a SWAT T or something like that. Grab this and train.
I
Seriously.
carry around an S-Mark all the time.
All
So
the
do
time.
I.
I have a SWAT T in my pocket right now.
Arm Atlas, he's someone that has one of our kits and has done a review on them. He's trying to find any gear, see if we have any gear specifically designed for a regular guy EDC, something that you can use on body.
Yes. I recommend the POC. I recommend you carry the POC kit and a tourniquet. So if you have cargo pants, like a cool guy, which I always do, this bad mamma jamma right here fits inside your cargo pocket. You have a blowout kit, and then all you need is a tourniquet in your other pocket or right next to it, right? Put this like this in your cargo pocket, or put this in one cargo pocket and this in the other, right? And you have a IFAC right there. You can carry it on you every single day. I do it, Ty does it, a lot of our medics do it. If you don't want a pouch, a big bulky thing sitting around, you can't even notice this thing. It's super slim. It's maybe 2.5 inches in diameter, or in width. I mean, that's pretty slim. A cat tourniquet is wider than the POC. So, boom, there you go. Carry a POC kit. We sell them.
Even just get a Ziploc bag and buy components off the store.
Yeah, it's better to
That's what I
have
do.
something. It's better to have something, 100%.
It's like my version of the pocket. I just got a Ziploc bag, put some gauze, some burn dressing, and a chest seal in it.
Yeah, and that works good too if you have jeans on. You don't have a cargo pants.
Had to get some more gauze today.
I do
Yeah.
gotta get some more gauze.
I used mine on Sunday when we were chopping down trees.
Yep. Thanks,
All right.
brother.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you.
Hey,
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Ty.
yay!
This is some garbage.
Doc Bravo 2142. Bob, which of your IFACs do you recommend for a bug out bag? And since your name is Bug Out Bob Actual,
Yeah. Okay. So on my bug out bag, I have a Bearfac, and that's pretty intentional because the Bearfac works the Marchi algorithm and then some. But if I ever have my bug out bag on, I also have an SOB on, because the way my line gear works is line 1 is my battle belt, right? So my battle belt goes on, and then line 3 is my bug out bag. So I always have an SOB on before I have, and that's not including what's in my pockets at all times, but a Bearfac is perfect to attach to the outside of any bug out bag. It's MOLLE compatible, so it's gonna be able to loop through. You can attach it super easily, deploy it super easily. It's water resistant. It's gonna be super helpful. And it comes in like all of the colors. So whatever color your bug out bag is, as long as it's not like cheetah print camo, If it's just a standard camo, we'll be able to help you out.
Cheetah print is so hot right now.
Dude, it's so sexy. Love the cheetah print.
While you're talking about SOBs, somebody said what to carry for motorcycles.
Yeah, honestly, an SOB is really good for motorcycles. SOB, you can attach to the handlebars or even to your sissy bar super easily, or you could even do it with the arc, same thing. Really lightweight, it's not going to get in the way of everything. We make it in black, we make it in red, both of which are good options for a bike. Usually those are going to be the two colors you're going to run. We talked about making them in leather. Toss it around. I don't think we're gonna do it. I don't think the market's there for it. If you wanted something bigger and you have bags, get a Bearfact, throw it in one of your bags. So here's the main issue with the bike, right? And over 90% of motorcycle accidents, the motorcycle is in one place and the rider is in a different place. So you might want to have stuff on you. That's a big thing. So think about that when you're riding. I have a bike. I carry my stuff on me because I'm usually all praise to the Most High, I've never laid the bike down, but if I did, and just like a bicycle accident, I never ended up at the same place as the bicycle. I was always a few feet away. So multiply that by X amount, given the fact you're going 60, 70 miles per hour, you might want to have some stuff on you in case you're bleeding out and your bike's 20 feet that way and it's in your leg and you can't move. So food for thought. Systems of redundancy, right? If you have it on you and then you have another kit that's like another layer, right? Just like with your preparedness, you want layers to your preparedness. So food for thought with that. We got time for maybe one more question, maybe two if it's a good one. So if you have a question or something of that nature, throw it in the boxes below because we're coming up on 2 o'clock and usually we try to stream for about an hour. So if you have another question, throw it in there and we'll answer it. If not, it is what it is. We talked a lot about the Bearfact. Do we have a Bearfact somewhere? Ba-boom! Bearfact. This thing is awesome. This is like our flagship item. This is our most in-depth first aid kit right here. And so this guy right here would attach to whatever you want. It's got Molly on the back. Take the red, pull it, right? This stays wherever it was attached to. You can open it with one hand. That's a huge deal. You have a 6-inch emergency trauma dressing, a cat tourniquet, gloves, Sharpie, medical tape right here. Back in this pocket, we call it the stack, right? 7 1/4-inch NAR trauma shears, 2 5x9 abdominal pads, nasopharyngeal airway, and the jelly. Don't forget the jelly. Halo chest seal. And then we have a burn dressing, right? All of that's inside the stack. And then we have a trauma pack down here. This is gonna have your survival blanket, your wound packing gauze, then it's gonna have rolled gauze, a triangle bandage, gauze, square gauze for your eye shield and eye pad, duct tape right there. And then you're gonna have hemostatic rolled gauze in the quick lot form, and all of that comes in your Bearfact. This kit is just badass. There ain't no easy way to say it. This is a perfect prep to have in the car, to have on your bug out bag, your rucksack, whatever you want to call it, whatever the kids are calling it these days, I don't know. And it's just useful. You can work the full Marchi algorithm and then some, which is important, right? A little bit of extra, a little redundancy, that's important. So, do we have any more questions?
I got nothing here.
All right, if we don't have any more questions, we're gonna get off, but I just want to tell everybody, hey, we've got a big deal going on for National Preparedness Month. If you spend $150, you get a cat tourniquet for free. That's a free $33 right there. And we do it because we love you. And show me another medical company that's giving away cat tourniquets right now. I'll wait. Okay? They're not. We are. That's because we have the stuff. No big deal. Not bragging. All right? If you spend $300, you get a bleeding control kit, which still has a cat tourniquet in it, right? But it's got a lot more in there. It's got a 6-inch emergency trauma dressing. It's got gloves. It's got wound packing gauze, survival blanket, shears, Sharpie, all that stuff, right? And if you spend $400, right, say you buy an adventure kit, all right, you're gonna get a whole wound care bucket. That's a great prep. That's a big deal. So go out, get you some stuff, be prepared, know how to use it, take a breath, okay? And you're okay. You got this. You can do it. Be prepared. And carry a tourniquet. Don't be dumb. and we love you guys. So, yeah, goodbye.